Time for the Week 7 NBHL Game of the Week, and we're going back to Massachusetts. The Oakridge Owls and the East Coast Shamrocks meeting today. I'm Matthew Aaron. Thank you so much for being with us. The Oakridge Owls are the first team to appear twice in the Game of the Week, playing the East Coast Shamrocks, an expansion team for 2025. Both of these teams come in with a 2-1 record, 6 points. There's a four-way tie for first in the Massachusetts division. So both teams looking to establish themselves early season with that 2-1 record. The Owls, of course, last year were second in the division. They were second in the division in 2022 and 2023. Lost in the first round of the NBHL championships to the Rose City Royals. The Shamrocks are an amalgamation of a bunch of teams, players from Tier 2, Tier 3, teams that are no longer in the division. Some players who have been up at this division before, others who are making their names here in the Shamrocks definitely have an opportunity to challenge the established order of the Massachusetts division. And this is an important game, and we're going to have it for you in just a second.
From the beginning of time, men and women have been friends, family, but yet rivals as well. Some of the most epic battles have been fought from the North to the South Pole and anywhere in between. As time flies, battles have transformed themselves into sports. Yet, the fundamentals remain the same, with lighter shields and a different type of sword. But evolution is clever. It introduces new rules but keeps one thing intact: adrenaline. So it's with honor and pride that we present to the world all of the above into one sport. Hockey ball, the game born in the North that can be played from the mountains to the ocean and from America to Europe, all the way to the land of the rising sun. Napper. Anyone, anywhere.
Here we go with these two teams getting ready for this Week 7 encounter of the Game of the Week. Shamrocks are in all white with green, as you'd expect, darker colors for the Owls. Owls, as we mentioned off the open of this show, first time we've seen a team twice in the Game of the Week. We've been to Massachusetts twice, we've been to Pittsburgh twice, we've been to South Jersey twice. We've been pretty much evening out where we're heading each week. Exciting times. But the Owls are the first teams that have been on here twice. They beat the Crooks as that shot deflects over the top of the net. They beat the Crooks 3-2 in that game a couple of weeks ago. The Shamrocks lost to the Crooks 4-1. Both teams with 2 wins apiece, 6 points, 3-2-1, 0-point structure in the NBHL. A lot of fun to watch these teams grow over the season. We'll see if the Owls can get to 2-0. That is shot in to the right of Ryan Clifford, who is New England's most valuable goalie last couple of seasons. Laid around Nate Glynn, who is a first-teamer on defense in the Tier 2 league, number 16 for the Shamrocks. There are a lot of Tier 2 players on the Shamrocks. As we talked about in the open, they're a brand new team, expansion team for 2025. What that means is that you can get a bunch of players from all over, and in Tier 2, if there's another turnover, that shot might hit the outside of the post. Opportunity for Caden Byington, one of the Tier 2 players, hit the outside of the post on that shot. Another one shot in that had to be steered away by Tyler Crawford, last year's most valuable goalie in Massachusetts Tier 1. Another opportunity for the Shamrocks to come in. Corey Tumanis, number 25, that deflects over the top. Stayed in play, and the Owls will try to break it out the other way. To finish the thought about what the Shamrocks are, a team that's got an interesting collection of players. A lot of them have been exceptionally good at Tier 2, so no surprise that an expansion team would bring them in. Matt Caron with the shot from defense number 97 for the Owls that was held by Clifford. See this shot that comes in from the point that Clifford saw the whole way. Clifford and Crawford, the goalies today. And to finally finish the thought, a lot of Tier 2 players getting an opportunity with the expansion team makes perfect sense for what you're trying to build. Of course, there are some great Tier 2 players on the Owls, too, coming up from last year. Some really good ones as well. Brandon Melanson was the Tier 2 MVP last season in Massachusetts, so A lot of players taking a step up in competition for good teams. That centering pass was from Owls. Just not able to get that ball out in front. Clifford was able to clear it away. And now we're going to go the other way. Down to the corner. Trying to get that out in front again. It's going to come back to Sam Colcord, number 20. He shot that in, but it was blocked. Not a whole lot of room there. Owls will have a chance to regroup. It's Travis Bliss. He's going to try to send ahead number 11. The Owls won against the Crooks in the Hudson Attack, lost to the New England Scorpions. The Shamrocks have wins against the Hudson Attack, the South Coast Union, and lost to the Crooks, as we mentioned before. 6 teams in the Massachusetts Division. 4 of them, as we mentioned coming into this game, are all 2-1. Shamrocks trying to clear. They couldn't get it beyond Albert, number 2, Matthew Albert, trying to keep it in at the point of that floating blue line. The wall here. Owls trying to keep it in. Albert's going to try again. That goes wide. And Owls try to center. Back in front again. Crawford, I don't think he ever had to make a save on that. And they're trying to set the table here in the offensive zone. Lawler was a Shamrocks player, got dumped in the corner. A little slow to get up, but he's all right. A lot of pressure for the Owls here. That was kept in at the far side by Karan. Coming in with 2 points on the season. Going to be dumped all the way in. As Crawford sits down and gives it to Mike DeFazio, GM of men's elite team. Their name named the Mariners. Men's elite competition, by the way, coming next week, so stay tuned for that. There will be no game of the week next week because of the men's elite teams coming together. We'll be back with you with another game of the week in 2 weeks. Right now, both teams have had offensive zone time, some sustained possession, but no real great chances the goalie's had to save. Look how far out Crawford is. Make the save. I think the play was offside. So draw will come in the neutral zone. Really aggressive goaltending there from Crawford. He is far out of his crease to make that stop. Even if the stop isn't registered on the scoreboard, because a play was offside. This is back with Luke Pahari. He's playing in his 4th game of the season, number 77. That's trying to send it into the zone. Nowhere to go. Got another whistle and a stoppage. Just about halfway through, close to it at least, this first period.
Who's that? Who's that? Is that
Gonna get the draw back in the zone for the Owls. Defensive zone. Ben Tolman take the draw here. Owls able to scramble it free off the draw. They're going to chase it down offensive zone against Glenn, and I think another whistle and a stoppage here. Game's getting a little choppy after that free-flowing start. Said coming into this game, both teams with 6 points, top tier 1. So whoever wins this game going to be pretty close to, if not at the top of Massachusetts tier 1. Another face-off win for the Owls. Going to try to break this out the other way. Now you can see some sustained possession without a whistle. Trying to get it out in front. Clifford was down. That ball's still stuck in the corner. Had to be cleared away in front by Bahari. Walker, Eric Walker, number 11. Got 2 goals and an assist on the seasons. Trying to circle the net with it, a turnaround shot. Blocked into some shin pads. Shamrocks again trying to put that pressure on, and this ball deflects off a shot from Hauser. Bobby Hauser out of play. See Walker just trying to circle, and the net, Nick Carter, who's the most valuable defenseman, 3 times in the last 4 years, and then this shot, off the mask, in fact, of Crawford. It went off a stick blade. It was Hauser who got that shot in. His father, Chris, started Leominster deck hockey. influential in the evolution of ball hockey again. Another chance. See this shot. That's a good save on the tip in front by the Shamrocks. That was Andrew St. Cyr, was a great player in Tier 2 for a while. Just off that point shot. It happened so quick. I'm in the middle of a fact. Well, the play is going. I'd say really good save. Owls coming the other way. That centering pass was blocked. So Crawford's made a couple of good saves. One on that redirect there, as you saw, and one off his mask. See why Crawford was last year's most valuable goalie. About 4 minutes to go in the opening period between the Owls and Shamrocks in the Week 7 game of the week. Hard battle in the corner and a whistle. The ball just got stuck in between some players in the corner, and the referees decide to blow the whistle. It's going last week, if you remember, in our game. The score of the game by the end of it was 10-5. I think it was 3-3 after the first period. We already had a couple of goals by that point. Today, thus far, no goals. Maybe we used up all of them last week. We'll have to find out. Owls trying to set it up. Shot comes through from Karan, went wide. Another wraparound shot, easy work for Clifford there. Stop that. Owls again trying to set the table on offense. Centering pass came out in front. It was intended for Nevin Lawler, but it never reached him. Shamrocks bring it in. Tumanis' shot was again off a stick and out of play. DeFazio getting his body in the way, blocking that shot and sending it over the fence. There's been a lot of that in this first period thus far. A lot of shot blocks, a lot of balls out of play, a lot of offside whistles. Pretty even thus far between these teams. Owls, of course, are one of the teams that sets the standard in Tier 1 in Massachusetts. We talked last year, the Open last year, that they finished second, and then they finished second in 22, 23, and 24. First round of the championships they lost last season. So they expect to get back there. Another shot, long way in, easy save there for Crawford. And the Shamrocks are going to try to break into that too. Another long shot. Comes in. A little wide. Trying to create offense with a lot of point shots. Tolman. Get back to this point. DeFazio's shot again. Deflects wide. Loose at the side. Owls with more pressure. This shot from Colin McCall. He was a Tier 2 with the Leominster Hitmen last year. As we said, both teams have a lot of players from Tier 2 that have moved on up and have fitted pretty well in Tier 1. In some ways, you're getting like the mass Tier 2 All-Stars that have made their way to these two squads. Been impressive. There's no question about that. Owls turn in the offensive zone. Now we get another whistle. Clifford here, you can see all these. That first shot deflected over the top. And then another opportunity here. Just had some heat on it. And then the shot comes through. Good pressure again. Getting these looks, getting these opportunities. But the goalies have stood firm, and I don't think there's been any grade A scoring chances yet. There's another one that comes in on Clifford. He's able to easily stick it away to the corner. Owls kept it in. This is Trevor Lawler trying to turn it on. Eric Walker trying to push it ahead. Barely got it over the red line before the Owls shoot back in once more. Bahari will try to set the table D to D. Sent ahead. Shamrocks trying to break into the offensive zone, not able to do so. Love these angles from behind the net. Good idea how these attacks are developing. Shamrocks trying to create something offensively. That's a good save from Crawford down low. Another good opportunity for the Owls trying to break their way in. This is going to be iced. We're going to get another chance to look at some of these opportunities that develop just from a long pass from one end of the rink to the other. And that's a great little stick check move. And how about that save from Crawford? And that was Byington. Just goes around the defender. Really easily gets the shot in, but Crawford shut the door very, very easily. Both goalies sharp early on today. And Glenn will try to bring... Period has just come to an end. So a pretty good first period. Both teams energetic starts, but no goals. Goalies sharp. We're going to have the first intermission in a second.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Owls and Shamrocks scoreless after the first period of the Week 7 game of the week. The NBHL, Matthew Aaron, thank you for being with us. Last week, if you remember, Renegades and Imperium was 3-3 after the first period. This week, no goals. Maybe we did run out of them, but there are different flavors to games of the week. And this week, we're going to start with the goalies. It was a tough week for the game of the week last week for the goalies. Today, the two goalies have been really exceptional. Tyler Crawford for the Owls, who's the MVG in Massachusetts Tier 1 last year. You can see why. This great save off this little in and out move after one of his defenders gets turned around. And then Ryan Clifford, who was the most valuable goalie a couple of years back in 21 and 22, he makes a couple of good saves for the Shamrocks as well. Quite great to have an expansion team with a goalie who was once the best goalie in Tier 1. Even if it was a few years ago, both have been very sharp early on. The way it's going, we might not get all that many goals, but you're going to have to stay tuned to the second period to find out. Second period underway. No score between the Shamrocks and Owls. Good saves for both goalies in period number 1. Let's see what we've got here for period number 2. Quick chance right off the hop. It had to be covered by Clifford. Just a little play right off the face-off. Kind of a deflected zone entry that Crawford trying to save. He ended up getting it, and then it was Bliss who finds his way towards the net and made the save, and made Clifford make the save. So that's the good start. And Clifford able to get it forced wide. Clifford and Crawford. Quite the goaltending matchup in name and on the rink, too. We've switched ends. See if we can get some goals here. That wraparound chance for the Shamrocks doesn't go. And the Owls will try to regroup. It was kind of a series of exchanges in the first period where you'd have sustained offensive zone time for minute 90 seconds. Shamrocks trying to set up with Byington. Getting worked here in the offensive zone. These offensive zone setups haven't led to goals yet. We'll see if that changes. It's Hauser to the point. That shot got blocked. It was Malou, number 13, who was one of the best players Tier 2 a couple years ago. First team all Tier 2. That point shot was blocked. It's going to come back the other way, and it's a break. It's 2-on-0 break. Pass across. Great passing, and they score. A little 2-on-0 break. It's Byington over to Eric Walker. A couple of Tier 2 players. Jailbreak the other way. 2-on-0 after a block shot. Look at the passing and the patience here. Can't do much better than that. Poor Crawford. He's got no chance. It is Walker's 5th of the season. 8th assist for Byington. And just a shade into this second period, the Shamrocks have a 1-0 lead. What an incredible setup and intricate passing play that was to get the goal off a block shot allowing a 2-on-0. This play's offside. Really saw none of that in the first period for either team. Both of them were pretty tight defensively. Goalies played pretty well. Crawford, poor guy, has nothing he can do there. There is not a goalie in the world on any surface who's going to stop a 2-on-0 like that if the passing is as crisp and as quick as it was there. Shot in by St. Cyr. Number 9. Now he wants to go get the ball back, but DeFazio is going to try to clear it up the wall. He's not able to do so. There's another turnaround shot that got blocked from the right circle to the left of Crawford. So it's the Shamrocks who have the first goal of the game. Held it at the point. Crawford saves, and he got any possible rebound, too. This just came in from the point. And St. Cyr was lurking in front of the net. And now, here we go with another face-off. Looking for room. Trying to break the ball out, and it's over the red line, near turnover. Now it is a turnover. A call, number 83, from a difficult angle. I don't think Clifford ever had to make a save there. It was stopped. Shamrocks trying to clear. Curran tried to cut off the wall, and Tolman shoots. That went wide again, and this is cleared into the bench. So Shamrocks got the first goal of this game, a beautiful goal, 7:23 to go in period number 2. And now it's time to defend that lead. Shot goes too wide on a deflection. Ari trying to play it to the wall. Love this angle from behind the net. Quick turnaround shot there from Bliss was stopped. More pressure for the Owls. Trying to go across the rink. Bliss again. He's able to settle it. Just had to force it back to the corner. It's really the only thing he could do there. Set the table, and we got another stoppage because the ball went out of play. Owls trying to turn the tide and get this thing tied up. Really important game. Their 4th game of the season for both teams. Each of them, as we mentioned off the top of the show, has 6 points. 2 wins and a loss. So any winner today, a winner in any fashion is very important. There's another chance that comes in. That was from Will Patton, number 17, has a goal already this season. Owls break it in, offside again. That was Bliss who couldn't hold the line. Another whistle and a stoppage. Mentioned in the first intermission that we have different flavors of games of the week. The way these can often go sometimes. Last week we had a goal fest. This week we have a goalie fest. Speaking of, Clifford makes a good save on that entry. Trying to use the boards to get the Owls, and Clifford's going to be able to touch it back. Still loose out in front. Another save. It was DeFazio, I think, who found his way in front of the net and had a good look. Crawford to the corner. It's Albert there trying to box out his man, Taryn Glynn. 3rd team All-Mass Tier 2 last year. Number 7. Nick Carter trying to keep it. I haven't spoken too much about Nick Carter as that shot came through. Clifford was down. He made the save. Loose at the side, and that's cleared. And off the top of the glove of a leaping Curran. We got a chance to reset. We haven't mentioned it, not about Nick Carter, number 12 for the Owls. Most valuable defender is... This one is held. Good job by the Shamrocks to keep him in check. Just comes out in front. Great look. First chance was blocked. Then you get another look here at this shot. That might have been tipped by Bliss again. Just a little scrum in front, not yet dealt with. And then this backhand from Lawler was also stopped. So we're just seeing great goalkeeping right now from Clifford. Covers up another one off a face-off. Hey, there are some weeks where goalie fests are just as good as goal fests, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Very impressive showing from both of these goalies right now. Owls trying to change that. Chance slides wide. It was Karan again who tried to get it through. This way, Hauser had trouble getting it out, and so the pressure continues. Owls looking to break the lock. Their chance was blocked. It's very patient right now from the Oakridge Owls, just trying to be patient and find that opportunity. McCall. Gonna get it back for Tolman in the slot. Nothing available. There's just white shirts everywhere. It's also been a cleanly played game. Not a lot of crazy physical action. No penalties as of yet either. Owls trying to turn the other way in a counterattack. Chance was into, again, more shin pads. Even if it seems like the Owls have a chance to maybe break the other way, almost immediately, as this is iced, almost immediately there's a shin pad in the way, there's a body in the way, there's a stick in the way. Almost no room for the Owls to work with. We got about 5 minutes, a little less than 5 minutes to go. The goal from Eric Walker is 5th of the season. Shamrocks ahead right now, 1-0. Albert trying to get it through traffic. Long point shot. Carter tried to blast it through. Another chance. That was stopped. Clifford down. It's out of danger. Iced again. This has basically been a Ryan Clifford highlight reel here in the second period. It's been a lot of Owls pressure from the... And this is a good save that got blocked. The first chance was blocked. This one, too. Quickly, he gets down in his stance. Just no room for anybody to make that play as Bahari just rips it all the way down. All he could do is sit. Owls definitely responding after that goal, but a lot of pressure. How long before the Owls get that killer chance? Came through. Crawford again. He finds it. Lawler's shot, I think, was off a couple of sticks on the way through. We'll get another look at it. Failed clearance. This always leads to good chances. That turnaround shot, it might have been deflected by Bliss again. On net, and it's the stick is behind him, so he has to readjust his body shape. And to get that towards the net, and he did. It's an awkward save. Shamrocks running the other way, and a shot was floated high over the top. Eric Walker had the goal, trying to get it through. Punched away from the crease. Tumanis, number 25, sent it through, and that is now Tyler Crawford's turn to freeze it. There's a good glove save from a point shot. Trying to find its way through traffic. Edging towards the end of the second period, it is still 1-0 Shamrocks. That's cleared out of play. That's a goalie in deep thought right there. Trying to focus. Did anyone see what Jake Ottinger said during the playoffs? I don't remember the exact quote, but it involved him saying, "Sometimes I think I'm going to peel my skin off." Goalies are interesting characters, but when they're locked in, they're in a different world than everyone else. Ask a goalie in your life about that. I'm sure they'll agree with you. That was Lawler's chance, was blocked for the Owls coming the other way. You figure there might be some odd man breaks, counterattack opportunities, off the rush perhaps for the Shamrocks, with the way the Owls are just trying to pump everything they can towards the goal. That's how it led to that 2-on-0 break. Loose along these near boards. Hard battle. Albert trying to push it ahead, but it's turned back the other way. Glenn gonna scamper after it. Oh, they're icing. Didn't have to ice it there on the other side of the red line. plenty of room and plenty of time and space. It didn't have to necessarily do that. Get another draw in the Shamrock zone, and there have been a bunch of those. Pretty much one-way traffic here in the period is, well, Patton getting his helmet readjusted for this face-off. Gotta be safe. Of course. Face-off won by the Owls. Almost won a little too cleanly. Point shot comes through. Flex to the corner again. Owls, for all the pressure, I can't think of many great scoring chances they've had. Maybe one or two. Clifford's been tested, but it's more the volume rather than the quality of chances. You can see DeFazio was asking for it back at the point. Another point shot comes in from the left point, but blocked in front again. Time to scamper the other way. Shamrocks up 1-0. They've done a real good job holding it to that score. And the goal is going to be, and they maybe get a second. There's a chance that comes through. That was from Charlie Holt, number 10. Loose at the side. Jamming away. Down is Clifford, and I think he got that. He did. He's down and out at this point. Rare look for the Shamrocks, the offensive zone. Look at it. He's down in his stance, and oh, they just can't elevate it. You can see Holt there. You can see Glynn there. When you're off balance, it's really hard to elevate a shot. Kept in off the draw. Shuttled along. Owls able to intercept that, trying to break through the neutral zone. This is Tolman. And it's back along the red line, but now, here they come again. Centering pass over a Krantz, and Crawford may have gotten a piece of that too. Heck of a save. Just numbers the other way. This ball hasn't left the zone. It's Walker, and he passes in front, and that is in. After one great chance, Owls couldn't get the zone established, and it's Walker who helps set up Bobby Hauser in front of the net right there into an open net. Lost track of Hauser. That's his first goal of the season. He'd been getting some assists coming in. Walker's fourth assist. Nate Glynn gets the secondary assist, so he's got an assist as well. His third of the year, and so 2-0 in favor of the Shamrocks on two just beautiful counterattacking goals. And so now the Owls in some trouble here, down 2-0, when they've been the team that's dominated play, and they've given up some chances like that, but not a whole lot to do with the zone entry there. Turned over. This is Bliss, offside. They don't like the call, but referee pulls it back. So the Shamrocks with goals in this period from Walker from Byington and Hauser from Walker and Glynn. 2-0 early and late in this second period. Got a couple goals, got a couple of really good goals. Well taken. Really beautiful goals. So now here comes Byington looking for a third. And Crawford, goalies sometimes who aren't tested, who don't feel a lot of rubber, get a lot of shots in. Those are sometimes the hardest ones to stop as this period comes to an end. 2 goals for the Shamrocks. Clifford and Crawford, the stars, but right now Clifford's the one keeping the clean sheet. Head to the third in a second.
Tune in to the Commish Chat podcast, your go-to source for weekly league breakdowns, current events, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world of ball hockey and the NBHL. Whether you're a player, a fan, or just discovering the game, we've got you covered. We break down top matchups, highlight standout performances, and dive into everything happening on and off the rink, from highlight reel goals to major league updates and everything in between. New episodes drop regularly, and you can catch every one on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Commish Chat, an NBHL podcast.
Shamrocks 2-0 lead over the Owls as we head to the third period. Matthew Aaron, thank you for being with us. NBHL Game of the Week. And different flavor game of the week, as I said in the first intermission, but we did eventually get goals. We got 2 really good goals from the Shamrocks, who have themselves not a comfortable lead, but a lead to take into the third period. And let's look at this. This first one from Byington and Walker. It's a 2-on-0. It's a jailbreak, basically. Poor Tyler Crawford, nothing he could do. Beautiful passing play. Byington and Walker. It's back and forth like a metronome. Walker's 5th of the season. Beautifully worked. And then it's basically been Owls pressure between that and then the second goal. Bobby Hauser's going to get this nice backdoor pass from Walker. Nobody picks up Hauser jumping into the play. And Hauser's first of the season. Family of Deck Hockey has the East Coast Shamrocks up 2-0. The Owls have been pushing, but they haven't really been able to test Ryan Clifford all that much. And they're going to have to test him in the third period if they want to get back into this very important game. 2-0 Shamrocks. We're coming right up with the third period. Ready for the third period with the Shamrocks up 2-0. They've been defending a lot, but now the challenge for them is to defend even more against an Owls team that's just going to keep on pressing and pressing and pressing. There's no question about that. And the Owls are starting in the offensive zone, no surprise. Carter trying to activate up the wall. Trying to get that centered out in front. It's Bliss who is looking for it. Trying to get in the slot. He turns and shoots. That got blocked. Shamrocks try to clear. Gonna have to try to go aerial. Let's make it far enough for... It will not make it far enough for icing. So it sends Albert all the way back. Gets it to Carter, who tries to bring it into the zone. Opportunity on for Bliss. And he's gonna try to keep going, and bodies go down in the corner. That's gonna be a penalty. That's going to be a penalty on the Shamrocks, and it is going to be Jake Bordeaux, number 88, the defender here, after an early save from Clifford, through the blur. It's like old NFL primetime highlights. That might be a reference that doesn't work for some of you. It does for the announcer, but it's still a penalty. And Bordeaux, so it is a power play coming up, a very important power play for the Owls. It feels like it's a must-score power play for the Owls here. You have been given a great opportunity to start period number 3. I never knew why the NFL primetime highlights sometimes had a blur in them and they had to zoom in. We'll never know. Meanwhile, back at the rink, Shamrocks trying to clear, not able to do it. Just trying to set up behind the net. You can afford to be patient here. Carter's someone you definitely want running this show here. It's valuable defense, but sharp angle shot, that was blocked. Down low, Bliss trying to get it out in front. They do, and they score. That's a goal for the Owls, and it's Matt Caron who came in, jumping into the play, backside, after this first shot was blocked. That was Tolman's shot was blocked, and now they're just going to work it free. Look at where Caron is. He's technically a defenseman, but he finds himself all alone in the slot. Clifford could do nothing about that. Caron's second for Bliss and Carter on the power play, and it is 2-1, so exactly what the doctor ordered for the Owls. They had to score on that power play, and they did. That came 1:47 into the third period, and now 2-goal lead cut in half. The challenge, the very big challenge now for the Shamrocks, is how long can you hold this? And one of the ways you could defend a lead is have the ball, have possession in the offensive zone, and they've been more than happy to give it up and just defend. Not necessarily like this. You can see 1-2-2 kind of trap they're working in, and no real clean way to enter the zone for the Owls, and that shot was blocked before it ever reached Crawford. (2-1) is the meat of this third period. Shamrocks have been really impressive for an expansion team. All the players they've added coming from all over the place, and they've been opportunistic. I think that's the best word to describe them. Owls keep in. Albert shot. Clifford steers it away. He was down in his stance. Trapped to the corner. I think it was Hunter Boudreau trying to wriggle it out of the corner. You expect a whole lot more pressure like this through the rest of this third period. Can the Shamrocks just keep it at bay? Important question. They need to spend some time in the offensive zone. They need to get some shots towards Crawford, that's for sure. And hopefully, in the case of these teams, this is another whistle and a stoppage. Ball goes out of play into the crowd. The test is an important one, I think, for both of these teams. Whoever wins this game is going to feel not just really good about themselves standings-wise, but you get to 3-1, whether it's in regulation or beyond. Who could say? We have not had an overtime aim yet in the game of the week. We've had a lot of interesting games, some close games, some late goals, but we haven't had any go beyond 30 minutes. Perhaps this will be the day, but that requires the Owls to score another goal. Shamrocks content to do this slow and methodical. Rip it around this way. Tamanis trying to play it along. Brett Holman is going to chase after it. Comes in front, and that's the first time Crawford's really been called into action in this third period. Going to get a chance to look at it from behind the net. Just a backhand centering pass comes all the way through because it was blocked. That was Albert who ended up kindly blocking it to Crawford. I mean, own goals are dangerous too if the Stanley Cup playoffs have taught us anything. Extremely dangerous. There might be more own goals in this Stanley Cup playoffs than any I have seen in recent years. And it's crazy how many there are and how important they end up being in the terms of the game. Leon Draisaitl scoring into his own net with less than a second left. Like, could you have ever imagined seeing something like that? In ball hockey, it can also happen too. Own goals are a thing you have to watch out for. That's for sure. Another ball goes out of play. Owls got their power play goal earlier in this period. Karan from Bliss and Carter. But at even strength, 5-on-5, it's been a lot of the same things we saw in the second period. They have a lot of possession. Trying to funnel in a lot of shots, but from not so dangerous areas. A lot of shot attempts, but the quality of chances, this just really hasn't been there. And when you have gotten a good quality of chance, Clifford's saved a bunch of them. Here comes a counterattack the other way. Shamrocks desperate for other opportunity, but they turn it over. 2-on-2. Owls fire a shot, missed everything, and out of play it goes. Attempts are there. I think it was Hamlin who got that in. Jeffrey Hamlin. Tolman on the draw. He's able to pull that back, trying to get it towards Karan. Comes to the front of the net. Clifford down, covers it up. Definitely sharp. See it again. There was Hamlin, who is that look of someone who knows they had a good chance and missed it. Well, that's what we saw there. It was a pretty good chance. Well, good chance by the standards of this game, where good chances are few and far between. DeFazio, that one went wide, but Clifford was at full stretch. Owls keep it in. DeFazio again, down low. He wanted to get it to Boudreau. Sticked away. Tolman trying to put the pressure on. Shamrocks trying to clear it. Up the wall. Able to get it into the offensive zone. Trying to get that one in on Crawford. I think Crawford had to touch that away. It's going to come the other way here. Quick speed. Real quick speed. It's Tolman. All the way in and he scores. Well, Tolman went from one end of the rink to the other. The Owls have tied the game at 2, and they scored in a Shamrocks kind of way. Look at this, just quick. Look at that drag back move. Great stick skill there from Ben Tolman. That's his 4th of the season. Lawler and DeFazio get assists for the help back in the defensive zone. So it kind of looks like the way the Shamrocks score their goals, counterattacking. Really incredible work there from Tolman. With about 3.5 to go in the period, this game is tied at 2. And you have to say, for both goalies, they've made great saves, but there's nothing you could do on either of those goals. Clifford just gets beat by Tolman finding the turbo boost. Hit the afterburners, and off to the races he went. Beat his defender, and it's great stick skill to play it in. So we now have a 2-2 game as this ball deflects out of play. Shamrocks, who led 2-0, have let that lead slip here in this period. This is the chance. Another good chance stopped by Crawford. That one off the stick of Glenn and off the leg of Bliss. Heck of a game today. There's no question about that. As you say, there are different flavors of games of the week, and this is a close game, a really well-played game. Lawler tried to send it across. High in the air. Shamrocks trying to make something happen late in the period. They try to go for a backdoor pass across the crease, but it never reached its intended recipient. Shamrocks go the other way. Tamanis will push it along. Albert is back defensively. Trying to dig it out from that kick plate. Cleared ahead again. Looks for an opportunity. Another save by Clifford. A short side opportunity. There wasn't a whole lot of an angle there. Tamanis. Patient. Long slap shot. That was from Hauser. I don't know if that ever reached the net. And there's just sticks and shin pads and boots in the way. It makes it very, very hard to get these quality of chances. Both teams will make a change. He's setting in defensive zone for the Owls, who needed to come up with some great plays, and Tolman had one of them. He's got the tying goal here. Number 94, his 4th of the season, full value for it. Well, deflects high up off the fence behind the net, trying to get it back in front. See, we don't have a lot of time left. About 1:10 to go. Both teams looking to get at least a point. And we mentioned earlier, it's 3-2-1 structure. Clifford here on this dump-in attempt, he's able to hold this, and that's probably the right idea. This point, freeze it, get a face-off. 3-2-1 0-point structure, so a 3-point game is off the table, but both teams are going to get at least one if this goes to overtime. And a shot there from Karan. Doesn't work, and now back the other way. Opportunity, perhaps. It's just going to roll on net. Shamrocks, again, trying to counterattack, trying to get some speed off the rush, but with less than a minute to go, this would have been a brutal way to give up a goal. And look at how well that's defended. There's no chance to get that in front. Karan is hustling back, and it was, I think, Byington. It was part of that little give and go with Walker in front of the net to set up the goal in the first period, who did a really good job of it. So time running short. Both teams still going to try to go for a game-winning goal in regulation. Sure looks like it. Quick shot, deflects, out of play. We get another face-off. In the neutral zone. A little different element to the standings if we have an overtime game today. No difference between winning a game in overtime and the shootout. Sent in wide of Clifford. There's actually some physical contact there on Bliss. There hasn't been a ton of these Play only one penalty in the game, so it's been pretty cleanly played the whole way through, too, to boot. Maybe one more chance can the Shamrocks get. Well, let's get it stuck in the corner, and the Owls should probably just keep it there, and they will as the horn goes. So we are, for the first time in the NBHL Game of the Week, going to overtime. We'll talk about it in just a minute.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and doesn't taste like ass. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer.
Here we go, overtime. Shamrocks and Owls. It's been a pretty even game, some great goals both ways. And 3 minutes, 3-on-3. Got to remember the number 3. As also, if we get to a shootout, 3 shooters. So the number 3 is very helpful in ball hockey when we get to this time in a game. But it's not for the points, of course, because now it's 2 points for whoever wins and 1 point for whoever loses. So both teams are going to be on 7 points, and the winner will be on 8 points. It's been really well played defensively. 5-on-5. There's a shot that comes in, saved by Clifford. He's going to have to stick this one away. Let's see if this is anything like NHL 3-on-3, which could go from well-coached and a bit of a stalemate to wide-open offense in the matter of a blink of an eye. See what we've got here. Oh, boy. See if we've got anything different from the game we saw in regulation. And so far, there hasn't been a whole lot of difference. Both teams going to be patient, and defense making it hard to break through the neutral zone even now. This is Lawler. Back up high. Carter. Quiet game for Nick Carter. That spun in front and was Bliss, and that shot never reached the net. Good hit along the boards. Physical play. He lost the stick, and he got hit again. Physical play that we have not really seen all that much of, but this could be a physical sport. That came in front. So close for Carter, but he wasn't able to connect with it. Back up high, Bliss. No chance. Went into some shin pads. That offense, oh boy, that could have been a problem. It still might be a problem. Going the other way, but some tired players on the rink right now. Shamrocks going to try to set it up. Had no whistles in the pass. It was intended for Byington. It goes all the way by him. Oh, boy. Happens when you miss that. Oh, another big hit. Overtime getting way more physical than at any point we saw in regulation. How strange is that? But really no chances yet. The physical play is more notable. That came in front. Look at the sliding play to try to break it up in front. Here's a chance. Tolman to win it. And, oh, it went off the end of his stick. Tolman looking for a second goal of the game, and that would have been a winner. Didn't happen for him. Karan will have to play it across again. We are less than a minute to go in overtime. It moves fast, 3 minutes, especially when there aren't any stoppages. Byington going to look ahead. Now they're going to set up. See, the Shamrocks players just look at the clock and decides, oh, you know what? That's enough. 3 minutes went by in the blink of an eye. And after some physical play and not many chances, we are heading to a shootout.
Tune in to the Commish Chat podcast, your go-to source for weekly league breakdowns, current events, and behind-the-scenes stories from the world of ball hockey and the NBHL. Whether you're a player, a fan, or just discovering the game, we've got you covered. We break down top matchups, highlight standout performances, and dive into everything happening on and off the rink, from highlight reel goals to major league updates and everything in between. New episodes drop regularly, and you can catch every one on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Commish Chat, an NBHL podcast.
Are we going to see complaining about shootouts here as much as NHL fans don't like shootouts? Well, either way, 3 shooters, it works the same as an NHL shootout until we get past the 3 shooters, and then the Oshie rule is in place. So whoever they want can shoot multiple times. But first up, it's Corey Tumenis, number 25. He's going to go in on Tyler Clawford, and he is stopped. Tries to work his way in. Slow move, and then there's not a whole lot of angle there, and Crawford gets it with his shoulder. Mike DeFazio will step up, both going at the same end of the rink. So Shamrocks missed their first. DeFazio in on Ryan Clifford. Look at all the stick handles, and he too is stopped. Look at all the stick handles from DeFazio. Back and forth, and Clifford held his ground. No surprise. And Andrew St. Cyr, number 9, he's going to come in the top of the second. Crawford way out to challenge. Look at how far out he is, and the poke check got him. Might have even gotten a couple of double hits in there. Double hits are illegal in NHL shootouts. Don't know about ball hockey. Either way, it was saved. Goes for the poke check and gets it. That's a heck of a play. That's what you love to see your goalie do. So here is Nick Carter. He's been quiet today. Is he going to be kept off it in the shootout? Oh, he went top shelf and he beats Clifford with a beautiful shot. Can't keep him off the score sheet forever. Didn't do a whole lot in the main game, but this just little skill, and there. Look at the little fake, little feint. Takes the ball off his stick for a second, goes up top on Clifford, and so Bobby Hauser has to score to keep the shootout going. If not, it's an Owls win. Hauser in on Crawford. Crawford makes the save, and the game is over. Extra point to the Owls. Hauser trying to work his way in a backhand. I think he might have lost it on the way in. Way to end it, but the shootout goes the way of the Oakridge Owls. They win this 3-2 in a shootout. We'll wrap it up in just a second.
From the beginning of time, men and women have been friends, family, but yet rivals as well. Some of the most epic battles have been fought from the North to the South Pole and anywhere in between. As time flies, battles have transformed themselves into sports. Yet, the fundamentals remain the same, with lighter shields and a different type of sword. But evolution is clever. It introduces new rules but keeps one thing intact: adrenaline. So it's with honor and pride that we present to the world all of the above into one sport: hockey ball. The game born in the North that can be played from the mountains to the ocean, and from America to Europe, all the way to the land of the rising sun. Napper. Anyone, anywhere.
First shootout, first overtime game of the week, and it goes the way of the Owls. They beat the Shamrocks 3-2 in a shootout. Matthew, Aaron, thank you for being with us. As we said, last week we had a 10-5 game. We're not going to get those every week. But this week we got ourselves not just a defensive struggle, a goalie struggle, but some really good goals, and then a shootout winner in the end. Let's go back and look at those goals. It was Karan on the power play, early power play for the Owls. They take advantage. Great passing. Bliss and Carter set up the goal there for Karan, a second of the year. And then how about Ben Tolman? He hit the turbo button, beats his defender, goes back on Clifford, and puts in a really good goal to make it 2-2. Didn't have a whole lot going on overtime, and the only goal in the shootout was from Nick Carter. We were talking about him as the most valuable defenseman in Massachusetts the last 2 years, 3 of the last 4. He didn't have a whole lot to do in regulation and overtime, but he sure did in the shootout. Great goal, is the only goal in the shootout, and they win. And so that leaves us in the standings. Crooks and Scorpions on 9 points. They have 3 wins in regulation and 1 loss. The Owls are right now 2 with a shootout win and a loss. That's 8. The Shamrocks are at 7. The Attack and the Union are behind them. But close race in the top of Massachusetts Tier 1, and the Owls get that extra point with an important shootout win. Again, no game of the week next week. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another one. Hopefully it's just as good as this one. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Have a great rest of your day.